his campaign, but is a volunteer for us, and he's been a big help already. And we feel like we've got young Republicans coming our way, we've got solid conservatives coming our way, and we have just Republicans across the board saying it's time for change. If you believe or support or have supported Senator Bennett, you like him, that's fine. But whether you believe or support him or disbelieve him or dislike him or whatever the case may be, nobody that I meet, including a lot of his longtime supporters, believe he's part of the solution for what ails this country today. And so I think if you look at where we're going, what we're doing, what we're trying to do, people are responding and they want change, and I hope that I'm the kind of change that Utahns will send back to the U.S. Senate. So a little bit about me and my background. I was born and raised in Utah. My mom was a single mom. My dad left shortly after I was born, and she went and worked. She was on welfare for a short period of time, worked herself off of welfare, but raised my brother and myself till I was about 11 and he was 14, and she married my stepfather. My stepfather was an old sheep herder from Wayne County and was a diesel mechanic at Wheeler Machinery, if you know where that is. It's a Caterpillar dealer if anybody's into heavy equipment. But my dad was a blue-collar guy, took his black lunch pail to work every morning, and I grew up in a trailer park, and my home was 12 feet wide by 60 feet long. And the reason I share that with you is to give you a feeling for who I am. I come from pretty simple roots, common ground, and hello, welcome, come on in and find a spot. So, and I've been able to experience as the first kid in my family to go to college. I've been able to build businesses. I worked in the Reagan administration for a short period of time under the Treasury Department, and I've had a chance to experience the American dream. I built some successful small businesses. I know what entrepreneurial capitalism is about. And in this race, there's no one that has the breadth of experience that I have in running business and having worked in the Reagan administration. I was also the K-12 education deputy for the state of Utah, where we took on No Child Left Behind. We also fought for charter schools, voucher programs. When John Huntsman and Gary Herbert were first elected, they tapped me as a volunteer to go and cover a lot of these issues to try and push for education reform. And we went back and took on George Bush and the Republican Senate and Republican House on trying to get out of the mandates of No Child Left Behind. So I think I have a lot of experience that I can offer the state of Utah, and in particular in the Senate race. And I hope that as you get to know our campaign, whether it's now tonight or over time, that you'll join our team and be part of what I think is Utah's answer to what's happening in this country. If you don't believe that people are angry, unhappy about the direction, and not just Massachusetts, but Virginia has sent a message with the governor's race. New Jersey has sent a message with the governor's race. I believe Pat Toomey will beat Benedict Arlen Spector in Pennsylvania. Chris Dodd has retired. Evan Bayh retired this morning. Dorgan retired. People are angry at this government that has spent and tried to give everybody whatever they want for so long that they're now bankrupting us and generations to come. So after, let's see, just back from a little bio, I went to Beehive High School, played sports, went to Snow College and played football there as a wide receiver, and then went to college. After college, I went out and worked in the Reagan administration. My job there was under the auspices of the Treasury Department, was an agency called Export-Import Bank, and I was sent all over Latin America to collect unpaid debt from corporations and governments. So I negotiated, or root beer, yeah. Yeah, by the way, this is my natural voice. Those of you who haven't heard me speak before. But those of you who haven't heard me speak before, I have this natural Jack Kemp tax cutting voice. Nice. So Lee Davison of the Deseret News calls me McGruff the crime dog. I don't even think McGruff is on TV anymore. These commercials are no more. But we have been. So I worked in Latin American markets primarily for the U.S. government, and then I left that and went into consulting financial advisory work, helping companies that were trying to export their goods and services overseas, helping them get financing, and then ultimately building small businesses as an entrepreneur. I run, with some investors, a mezzanine fund where we have 19 cash-flowing kind of bread-and-butter companies that we help finance and help them grow. I also am a part-time CFO for a healthcare facility with 60 employees down in Panguitch, Utah. It's a troubled teen center. In fact, right here in Logan, you've got, you know Logan River Academy, do you know where that is?
Yeah.
So one of the partners there is one of our partners, his name's Bob Christ, and he is 77 years old, he's the grandfather of this industry in Utah, working with troubled teens. He's a psychiatrist, but we help kids, and I'm the finance guy, and over this difficult economic time, we've had to cut our budgets, we've had to look at employees and say, we need to downsize, we've had to cut benefits so we can keep those people employed, and I'm the only candidate in this race that has real substantive business experience that we can go back to Washington, D.C. and say, hey, have you met a payroll? Do you know what it means to create a job? And the government doesn't create jobs, it creates deficits when they spend. Okay, economic or entrepreneurial capitalists create jobs in this country, and we need to free up those entrepreneurial capitalists so that they can get the engine of this economy going. And when I read the Constitution, there's been a lot of Constitution debates and discussions in this campaign, because there's a couple of really good candidates that have a passion for that. I care about it and have a passion too, but I read it as an economic document in the following sense. If you read the Constitution, it is trying to protect entrepreneurs and the business being able to have the freedom to succeed and not have the tyranny of an oppressive government or a monarchy, in the case of when it was written, to overthrow and take away private property rights. Private property is a big part of the founding of this country and of the Constitution, and that wealth society where you get your own, that ownership society, is a large part of what separated America from other countries in the world. And so as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, I want to fight so that we get back to freedom and not this oppressive regime where the federal government has taken all the power away from the states, contrary to the 10th Amendment and the document itself, and they're trying to do everything they can to take over control of what we do. So I've been working in the private sector for 25 years. I know what it means to build a business. I know what it means to fail in a business. And we've got to let entrepreneurs keep what they make so they'll keep investing. And right now, the system is anti-capitalist. Barack Obama went after car companies and gave them money, not to save car companies, but to save the unions.
Yep.
Okay, that's anti-capitalist in my opinion. He gave capital, bondholders and people that put capital into those companies, he made them take a 70% haircut. I mean, his actions were not what America has been built on, and we've got to get back to that. And if you elect me as your senator, that's one of the core issues I'm going to fight for. We have to cut the deficit. We have to cut the spending that's going on in this country. We have a $14 trillion debt right now that costs you and me and our kids and for generations to come. $14 trillion is $500 billion a year or more now in interest costs. So it costs that much money just to pay for the past sins, the past spending, because we can't get our own house in order, and that is unsustainable. And if you elect me as your senator, it will be a core part of what I go back to tackle when I'm there. So with that, I've also worked on national campaigns, I've worked on local campaigns, I've been a county GOP chair in Utah County, arguably the most conservative county in this state. Kane County likes to argue that they're the most conservative because they've never voted for a Democrat in the history of that county. Yeah, I think Utah County did FDR one time in its history. So let me, you can all come up right here, grab a chair if you want. All right. So, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit more here. Is that my water? Or yours? So, anyway, so I have a passion for good government. I like to be involved. I ran for Congress after Laura and I moved back home to Utah. I ran for Congress in a field of 12 candidates in the 2nd Congressional District. I was unknown. I didn't have any endorsements. I hadn't campaigned until caucus began. And then we started our campaign, and in 6 weeks, against 12 candidates, Merrill Cook was in the race, several well-known candidates, a guy named John Swallow, who was a legislator. And at the end, when the dust settled at convention, I won 57% of the delegate votes. Campaigning just like this, going one-on-one in small groups and across the table in Carbon County with one guy, trying to win their votes. And I won 57% of the vote, completely unknown. Now I have people that know who I am. I have backing from legislators. I have backing from people. Mayor John Curtis, newly elected mayor of Provo, is going to endorse my campaign and have a fundraiser for us soon. So we've got good momentum, good organization, and we have the ability, and I think that separates us from the other challengers, the ability to beat Senator Bennett both in a convention and in a primary. If we can't get all the way to 60% in convention, we can also beat him in a primary, and Jason Chaffetz showed that that can be done even though he has higher name ID. So with that, let me Did I cover everything, Laura? I want to kind of throw it out fast.
Yep.
I've been doing it now, this is my 5th county, so I've got my opening statement out, pretty good to kind of run through things. So with that, let me just open it up to questions, raise your hand, let's answer everything. Don't be afraid to ask something that's on your mind. I'm sure you're not going to agree with me on everything. I've heard it said that if 2 people agree on everything, one of them's not necessary.